Hi, welcome back. Stronger to Age Well, episode 5. Today's topic is a fun one. I want to talk about the great gender gap with fitness. So, why men and women are different, our exercise needs, our hormone needs, and strength training that actually works for us women. Most people don't realize that almost all of the exercise and nutrition research that has been done for decades has been done on men. Why? Well, men are easier to study. Their hormones stay pretty stable from day to day. They don't have monthly cycles. They don't get pregnant and have all of that change in our bodies. No perimenopause, no menopause to account for. So their data that they're getting off of these men is clear, clean, and consistent. Researchers then take all that data that they pull and they apply it broadly, and somehow broadly, quietly became for everyone. Which brings us here where women are getting advice that's like, eat like this, train like this, recover like this, fast like this. And our bodies operate on a different rhythm. So it's not working for us the way that it should. I'm not saying this happened out of some kind of malice or an intention to skew studies or anything that crazy. Honestly, I think it's far from it. It really happened out of convenience. It was easy data. Unfortunately, convenience has consequences and we pay for it. For decades, women have had improper guidance that wasn't even designed for our body. And then we struggle to understand why nothing is working the way that it should, especially as we age. I felt this personally. My husband, when he started working out, or we would go do something together, like some training plan or a cycle or a fast or something like that. And he gets these great, phenomenal results. And most of the time, I almost get like the counterproductive results, right? Like, we did a 72-hour water fast, and he obviously lost several pounds. Even if it was just water weight, lost the weight. I gained a pound in the 3-day fast of only drinking water. So our bodies are different. Our hormones are different. So that's not your fault as a woman. It's just the way our body operates. So we got to get on the same page. So you might think like, Tony, I know men and women are different. But I want to break down a little bit of the physiological side of what makes us different and why. So the first thing I want to mention is muscle. So muscle and strength differences. Obviously, if my husband and I are working out, 9 times out of 10, he's going to pick up a heavier weight than me. He's got bigger muscles than I have. As hard as I might work, he's got bigger muscles than me. Women naturally have less testosterone, which is the hormone that drives those large increases in muscle mass. So if you're worried about getting bulky just from lifting, don't be. This is a myth, which we're going to talk about in a whole episode itself, I think. But if it were easy to get bulky by picking up heavy weights, I'd be a bodybuilder right now, man. I would be thick with muscle. Unfortunately, you have to train to get bulky, especially for a woman, and it's going to take time, probably a year of consistent, like having a plan to get bulky. It's a lot of effort. So I'm not going to get bulky. The second thing is that muscle fiber composition. So we have more slow twitch muscle fibers in comparison to men. Like as women, our muscle fiber favors endurance and efficiency rather than that raw kind of explosive power those fast twitch muscles provide. It's great. It's why I do great in my long runs. Functional strength, controlled movements, awesome for a woman. That is where we excel. Those explosive big power moves, we got to work a bit harder to get to those. Muscle fiber composition, like I said, we have the slow twitch, the men have the fast twitch. So that's it for that. Obvious hormone cycles, like let's be real, estrogen and progesterone, they fluctuate every single month. It affects our energy, our recovery, our nutrient use. Men, like I mentioned at the beginning, stable hormones for the most part. So that's just a bummer for us. Makes us feel a little crazy sometimes. Just blame it on your hormones and move on. So it's fine. I'm kidding, of course. But all right, so our recovery needs as a woman are different. Back on track here. Our recovery needs, we need moderate, consistent strength training, and that often works better than like a high volume, high intensity plan. That has been borrowed from male protocols and male done research because that works really well for them. Hormone fluctuations affect protein synthesis. It affects our glycogen storage, our joint stability, So training without accounting for all that is more than likely going to lead to fatigue, soreness, and maybe even injury. And the last thing I want to mention is bone health. So women are more prone to osteoporosis or osteopenia, especially as our estrogen starts to decline. We become more at risk of that. Strength training applies mechanical stress to our bones, which is going to signal them to stay dense. How cool is that? The right loads, the right reps, the right recovery and timing aren't identical to what a man would need to signal the stress to his bones. It's different. Our bone health has different needs, especially with us being at risk of osteoporosis and osteopenia. So big things to think about there. I'll be honest, learning about all of this was kind of a game changer to me. It really explained why some of my favorite workouts left me completely wiped out, while my husband seems to train just fine. It wasn't me failing or being lazy. It just means that my programming might need to be a little bit different than his. Great. So why does the women-specific research really matter? The reality check is most exercise recommendations you see today are still based off those male-centered studies. We don't fully know how women respond to strength training in depth. There's not been a ton of research on it yet. Or HIIT workouts or endurance or how all of that needs to change during our hormonal fluctuations. I would love for some people to start doing some studies and research on this. So if any of y'all are, researchers or into that sort of thing, like these are the studies that need to be getting done so that we can get proof, like real proof on what is optimal for our bodies. Science is starting to catch up, so don't get me wrong. People are trying, but I think as women, we just need to trust our own bodies, and that's a good starting point. So track how you feel, track and adjust those results that you're getting. Be good about diligently writing it down. I lifted this weight this many times. My RPE, like how I feel, my perceived exertion was a 7. Don't just blindly follow advice from other trainers, especially males out there, or research that you've read or something that you throw into ChatGPT or something like that. Like really focus on it being for a woman and what our needs are, especially by your age decade, because every age our needs change just a little bit more as we go through our decades. So learning this the hard way myself, following those general guidelines, I ended up being really sore, really in pain all the time, a lot of energy crashes, and really more than anything, a lot of frustration. I wasn't getting the results I wanted. I started paying attention to my own monthly cycles, my energy, what I needed for recovery, what that looked like for me, what my body was trying to tell me, and everything has started changing. My body is transforming and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling energetic. I'm not feeling sluggish or run down or like I've been hit by a train like I felt for a really long time. So I mentioned earlier when we're talking about bulking up and lifting weights, I mentioned that, women don't bulk like men when we're lifting. It takes a lot of effort. It really takes a really high calorie count to start. It's not simply the testosterone that I mentioned, like we have lower testosterone, which helps us to bulk if we had higher testosterone. It's also the calorie and supplementation that we need for a large bodybuilder style muscle growth. Lifting weights for women is more about functional resistance, bone health, our metabolism. Oh my gosh, muscle equals burning more calories. So we want that muscle mass because it's going to increase our metabolism and help us to be all around healthier from the inside. Also helps with our joint stability. I'm not saying that every workout we need to do needs to try to have us look like or be like a professional athlete of sorts, but just getting that function, the resilience, bone health, what else did I say? Joint stability and our metabolism kickoff. That is like so important when we're doing our strength training. The fear of getting bulky is a crazy myth out there. And if I could debunk this 100 times over in every episode, I'll mention it. A lot of women avoid strength training because they don't want to get bulky. And I air quoted that if you're listening and not watching. The getting bulky is mostly a myth because when you avoid the strength training, you're doing long-term harm to your body at that point. Our body needs, your bone health needs it, your joints need it, your muscles need it, your metabolism needs it, your brain needs you to have muscle on your body, especially to support us through the times of life when our hormones are changing, like perimenopause and menopause and beyond that. So again, like you're not going to get bulky because you're picking up heavy weights. It's not how it works. So please spread that rumor for me. That would be great. But with that, our training does look a little different than men's because hormones and such, right? So how do we train as a woman, and how do we approach training as a woman that actually works for us? What I have found, and what I have found with a lot of my clients and a lot of the research that I've read and that's coming out now about women's strength training, is we should not be lifting super heavy all the time, that we want a moderate weight, and we want to focus on full body workouts, full body strength training 2 to 3 times a week. We want controlled reps where we're really focusing on good form, because that's going to keep our joints strong and healthy. It's going to build the muscles properly. We're not chasing max out lifts constantly, although it's good to do sometimes because we want to keep those effort levels where they need to be. And we also want to, track that we're gaining the strength that we're working hard for, but we're not chasing that max. Having goals is awesome, but just don't let that be the focus of my big goals. I want to lift a 400-pound deadlift, and I'll do whatever it takes to get there, even if it means that my body is going to fail me a little bit and feel like I've been hit by a train all the time. Really paying attention to how we feel. So controlled reps, focusing on form, and not chasing those maxes, although the maxes are okay to chase a little bit, to go after. We want to more than anything respect our recovery, especially on those low energy days. Pay attention to how you feel during your cycle. When are you feeling the most energetic, where you might lift a little heavier? When are you feeling more sluggish and tired? How are you going to train through that with your body and what you need? Last is, again, track it. Track your cycle and how you're feeling throughout the month. Track your sleep throughout the month. What weeks are you sleeping well, and where's your progesterone maybe dropping, where you're not sleeping as well, you're more irritable? How are you feeling? How's your nutrition? Track it for a little while, adjust it, make sure you're hitting your protein, make sure you're hitting your calorie intake needs, because y'all, fueling your body, so important. And as women, we tend to underfuel, which means we're not building muscle. I talked about that in my last episode. When we underfuel, we're no longer building muscle. We're doing all this work to store our fat as energy and to burn muscle for energy, because we have to be eating to repair that muscle to build it up stronger. So huge, guys. Strength training doesn't need to mirror a man's plan. It doesn't need to mirror a random plan you find online. You need to pay attention to you, and you need to make a you plan, your hormones and your long-term health. Find a coach, find a personal trainer to work with you on it. Have them work with you on tracking it, how you're feeling, what weeks you should be going high reps, what weeks you should be going less reps. Know your body. So, personal example on this. I once jumped in to a high volume training plan. I thought, I'm going to handle this. I'm great. Like, I'm fit. I can do this. By the second week of this plan, my knees were aching, my energy was gone, and honestly, my confidence dipped quite a bit. This was a running plan at the time, so it didn't involve a lot of strength, but it's the same idea. It was a running plan that was geared toward a lot of speed work, a lot of interval training, a lot of hill repeats, a lot of these big bursts of energy that completely wiped me out. And my recovery was poor. So all of those things didn't add up for me, especially once the confidence dipped, man. When I switched to the more moderate go with the moderate weights or the moderate runs, consistent sessions, huge to have consistency. Planned recoveries, this is even bigger. I can't emphasize enough, y'all. I have 2 designated rest days a week where I don't lift and I don't run. 2 designated rest. That means any other workouts that I do, my HIIT workouts, my strength training, and my running, it falls on the other 4 to 5 days. I don't overlap. My rest days is not a rest day from strength, but I'm going to run instead. It is a rest day. I'm going to get my steps in for the day. I'm going to practice fueling my body and resting my muscles, resting my mind, resting my heart and lungs, because I want to feel good and I want to recover well so that tomorrow when I train again, I'm ready to go. My progress has felt so much better. My recovery has been so good. My body feels supported, and I really enjoy the training a lot more because I'm not feeling wiped out all the time. So with all of that, I want you to hear the heart of what I'm trying to say. And that's, women, we're not just like smaller men. We're not. Our muscles, our hormones, and our recovery needs are so different. Even what we're eating needs to be a little different than what a man eats. And that's a good thing. Strength training for women isn't about having to push harder and do more all the time. It is like the one area of our life we can kind of sit back and ride that moderate line for a minute, that we can push ourselves without peaking or maxing out. It's about doing the right thing for your body consistently with the attention that your body needs for the rhythms that you're going through right now. Science is slowly catching up, but in the meantime, challenge yourself to lift confidently and moderately, regularly, to track your results, track how you're feeling, track how your cycles are, your energy levels are, what you're eating, to respect your recovery. So you really be intentional with recovery, you guys. This is so important. Sleep well, eat well, recover, rest. And then please, please, please ignore the myths about getting bulky and spread that word. You will not get bulky. For how much I train, you would think that I would be She-Hulk. I'm not. My muscle definition is very mild. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. But please ignore those myths about getting bulky. Give yourself a shot at that strength training. Lift some heavy weights. You are so strong. You don't even realize how capable you are. Your body is capable of doing incredible things. So you just got to get out there and do it. The programming that you're following needs to respect your biology. So that advice is designed for everybody. We have a strength program at the gym that I work at, and our strength program, although is designed as a general for men and women, we really do a great job at kind of tailoring it and tweaking it. We have a lot of females in our strength program, and I love that. I love y'all that come and do strength with me. It's amazing. So shout out to all my strength clients that are listening to this. I love you guys, and I'm so proud of you for doing the thing. Strength training is not about competing with another man in the gym. It's not even about competing with the woman next to you. It is about building your body to keep you strong, resilient, and confident through the decades as we're aging, you guys. I'm so proud of you getting out there. Please reach out if you ever have any questions. Do your research, track yourself, pay attention to what your body needs. And until next time, be stronger today. Love you guys.